Hi, and welcome to The Right Hook. I'm Susan T., and together we'll be exploring easy but effective techniques you can use to make your writing stand out. There'll also be an opportunity at the end of the video to try out your skills on what we covered. So let's get started. The power of a number. As you write, look for places to include a number that gives your writing specificity. The figure could be a data point, a statistic, the results of a survey or a poll, or some other quantity that's going to cover the same ground as a slew of numbers, but more efficiently and more persuasively. The digital information you present should speak directly to the message you're crafting. There's no point in including facts and figures that dazzle, but that don't support your messaging. Take a look at this stat. It's impressive, and you'll be tempted to repeat it on the page. Now, I'm a driver, and I can tell you that I find it jarring that I'm told I'm likely to spend around 180 days of my life idling in my car at a red traffic signal. It's a good bet that in whatever media this statement appears, that quantity of 6 months is going to catch my attention. Or how about this? You'll want to showcase it if you're writing about the growing popularity of telemedicine and point out that you're likely to meet with your doctor over Zoom within a few days of your request, rather than waiting almost a month for a face-to-face meeting. This one number, 29 days, conveys both the long wait for an office visit with your healthcare provider and the promise of more speedy action if you give up your reliance on doctor appointments in a bricks-and-mortar setting. What we're talking about here is being proactive when you write. Do your research and seek out numerical information that tells a story with a figure. But don't just grab any number. A lot of low-hanging fruit is easy to pass off as justification for a point you're trying to make, but it may have empty value. Here's what I mean. Maybe you've read statements like this. Wow, you're thinking. About 1 in 4 Americans really believe in horoscopes. That's pretty strong proof that we can read our fate in the stars. Not so fast. Sure, people enjoy reading their horoscope or meeting with someone to analyze their life patterns from the position of planets and stars. But is it necessarily an indication that people are putting stock in astrology and horoscopes? Are they taking it at face value to make life-changing decisions? By digging a little deeper, we find that the statistic with genuine news value isn't the one about how many Americans believe in horoscopes and astrology. It's the one that signals the strength of their belief by whether they take it seriously enough to influence their actions. So here's a piece of high-octane data you'll probably want to include in a blog about trends around engagement with mobile phones. Now I'm thinking, hey, more than 200 times a day? That's a pretty big number. And there's nothing wrong with showcasing this finding in your blog. But keep in mind, it doesn't go the distance. It doesn't provide enough context to deliver a wake-up call for how much my smartphone has taken over my life. Here's the statement that puts looking at my phone more than 200 times into context. I'm awake maybe 15 or 16 hours a day. Are you telling me that about 1/3 of that time I'm staring at a screen the size of a credit card? When you reach for a data point or a statistic, fight the urge to pick the count that comes up first in your search. Ask yourself, does this numerical information truly tell a story? Or am I going to make my audience work to see why they should pay attention to it? By the way, as I talk about the power of numbers to paint a picture for your audience, I use the terms data and statistic intentionally. There is a difference between the two. A data point is a raw number, like 200 times a day. A statistic is the output from the analysis of a data set, like 5 hours and 1 minute, which leads us to another point. Don't be fooled by factoids. These are widely repeated numbers that have no hard data behind them. Let's go back to an early statistic. I call it a statistic because presumably this is the output from analyzing many pieces of data. But are there really data points behind it? Where's the analysis? With the help of Microsoft Copilot, I was able to view the data that might be behind the hearsay that American drivers waste an alarming half year of their precious lives killing time in their car at an intersection. Copilot's analysis is that people spend less than a third of that time waiting for a red light to change. That 6-month figure? You can find it pushed along by media outlets that don't fact-check, but I doubt you'll find the math behind it. So avoid introducing unsubstantiated claims from unreliable sources. It will undermine your work. And in general, when you do present a number, write anything over 9 as a digit instead of words. However, if the number comes at the start of a sentence, either write it out or find a word to back it up so it appears further down in the sentence. Here's a number that's certainly greater than 9. So 30,000 is presented in digits. In this sentence that masterfully uses a descriptive number, 3,955 comes at the start of the sentence, so it's written out. And in this example, the journalist found a way to keep the year in digits instead of writing it out by backing it up so it doesn't come at the beginning of the sentence. These rules about how to present numbers in writing can be applied in most circumstances unless you've been given specific instructions about giving figures a different treatment. Finally, when you go out on the internet to look for numerical information that can bolster your writing, try to determine if the measurement can be trusted. Generally speaking, you can trust media outlets that fact-check their content, or you can do your own research by consulting reliable sources. So let's go over what we covered in this session. First, strengthen the credibility of your writing with a measurement that, second of all, has true news value. Present numbers over 9 as digits unless they come at the start of a sentence when they should be written out. And last, look to reliable sources of empirical information. It's out there if you use your initiative to find it. So here's a chance to put what we covered into action. Suppose you've been asked to craft an invitation to a webinar that focuses on personal agency in keeping your heart healthy. Ask yourself, what's a number I can put in front of viewers that could compel them to register for the webinar? Pause the video and think about it. Maybe it's something like this. The first bullet here presents a data point on what a workhorse your heart is, so you better take care of it. And the second is a stat that makes it clear that you can't just rely on pills to keep your ticker functioning properly. It's up to you to keep your heart in shape. Both of these bullets were carefully curated to drive home the point that you should attend this webinar if you know what's good for you. And that is the power of a number. If you want to share comments, questions, or even writing samples, contact me at therighthook123@gmail. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you at my next video.